Tide, roll tide. Thank you for checking me out. Thank you for coming to my channel. This is Simple Logic TV, the sports edition, and I want to go over week 7 of college football. Now I ended up going to work yesterday, and so I wasn't able to sit around and watch football like I usually do. And so I just mainly just caught up on the score with the Alabama South Carolina game. I watched a little bit here and there, and listen to people talk. You would think they played the worst game in history. Um, Me and a few of the fellas from back home be on like a little live chat channel where they talk about the game live and go back and forth about what's going on. So I'm listening to them pretty much most of the day. I'm thinking they look just as bad as they did against Vandy. But once I got home last night, I went over the game, reviewed it, and they really didn't look too bad. I mean, they weren't great. I mean, they're not Nick Saban Bama team, but considering what we have, you're just gonna have to acknowledge that this isn't Nick Saban's Alabama squad. This a new Alabama squad, and they are basically a good team, just like everybody else. We're not the elite. We're not at the top by ourselves anymore. We're just not elite. We are a good team, and you got to expect to see a good team when you see them play. Now, I mean, they make a lot of mistakes. Now, their fundamentals are just pure trash. Their tackling is garbage, and that seemed to be like a trend this year. I know even in the pros. Look at Dix that play for the Cowboys. He is not gonna come up and hit anybody. People are running all over him today. Um, and I've noticed that about our secondary. They're not gonna come up and hit anybody, especially if it's one on one. They'll dive. I mean, which they end up looking silly, all out there by themselves, so everybody can see you diving out there missing tackles. But and the penalties are terrible this year. And it seemed like at the worst time, especially like it's a third down when the defense is trying to get off the ball, they might make the play, but then somebody might be an accidental face mask, offside, or something like that. But I think the offense played well. And this is another thing about this game. I haven't kept up with South Carolina at all this year. Even I knew, just from my research during the week, that their defensive ends are some serious. They were somebody you need to contend with. But looking at that game plan that they put together, you would think they didn't even know that because those guys had a field day against them. Um, I mean, like I said, they're not as bad as you always making it seem. But now they did give up like 9 points in like 2 minutes before half. Now that was a strange sequence of events. Jalen should know better than to ground the ball. He was close to the sideline. He could have threw the ball out of bounds. But I don't think you can fix the fundamentals during the season. That's something you got to fix. That's something that you work on during off season. Because basically fundamentals when I play football, fundamentals are something you practice every day. Because it's those small things that show up in the football game. And the penalties, that's just something they got to work on internally. And from what I've been hearing, I think they got some problems. Some of the players have problems with the coaches and his methods. I'm watching the game again right now. I mean, it wasn't as bad as it wasn't that bad. I think they played well. I think them allowing teams to come back and take the lead on them weekly is something that we're not used to. And that's the thing. We're not used to. We have been like great for like, been 15 years. We've been in the top 5 or number 1 for 15 years. And now we see what other teams have been dealing with, what they look like for the past couple of years. Teams like Auburn and LSU who have good players, but their team is just good. But when we play a South Carolina team like this one, 27-25 isn't acceptable. But hey, at the rate we're going now, I'll take the win. I don't think they look as bad as they did against Vandy. I think they improved a little bit. I just think South Carolina was a little better than people gave them credit for, especially those D ends. And you got to imagine, people are saying that we're not getting the pressure from the defensive line. You got to realize those guys they're trying to bum rush 300 some pounds, and if you got four players rushing five offensive linemen, with the tight end still staying in the block. I mean, it's going to be difficult unless you got to be some really great A players, and these players may not be top grade defense on the defensive line unless you have the blitz. You're gonna have the blitz, and I think we need to start blitzing more. I mean, and then like another thing, some of the plays let's say be a blitz on second down, make a great play, but on third and long, we don't blitz. We get a guy time to throw the ball. See, things like that is what was killing us. We had to get off the field, and Melrose. I'm not really into that guy this year because I think he do a lot of showboat and all that dancing after he scored a touchdown. That's not something becoming of a great quarterback. I think it's a bad look for him and the leader of the football team. I think he needs to do better. I know he missed a few shots down the field for Williams. I mean, that's gonna happen. He's not gonna be perfect. Nobody's perfect. But actually, I'm not as upset as people as I've been seeing people comment about. I mean, of course we can do better. But I say considering what we have, and you got to realize there are a lot of freshmen playing on our defensive side of the football. So I mean, it is what it is. These guys are freshmen, and you got to realize too. Also, our team has been pillaged from by other teams, Ohio State, Florida State, coming in buying players, and it is what it is. If we had lost that game, I don't think I would have been surprised. I would have been a little surprised, but not as considering what we have. It is what it is this year, so I'm not expecting a national championship. Because to be honest with you, when it's all said and done, people looking at Texas, I'm thinking you need to pay attention to Texas A&M. Those guys are huge and they are good. They got their quarterback back, and they're playing really well right now. So that's what I'd be concerned about. Of course, I'm concerned about Alabama keep winning. We got Tennessee this year. I mean, next week. We're underdogs, of course. I think it's 2.5. I think it's 2.5 now. 2.5 points. Which that's another thing. We are underdogs every week, just about, except for the Vandy game. Yeah, we should have been underdogs for them too. But how we gonna play against Tennessee? And it might be a case of where we just play up to our competition. We might get down to Knoxville and just shut them out. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's a close game. And that's another thing. We're not used to all these close games every week. By end of third quarter, we're looking to be up by 14 or 15 points. Yeah, we got to come back now. Now we sitting down pins and needles just watching the game, nervous, like Auburn every week. And what else we got? Tennessee and Florida. I mean, seriously, when that game went into overtime, did anybody really think that Florida's gonna win? I didn't. I knew they weren't gonna win because that's Florida being Florida. I'm surprised they played as well as they did. I had like 4 games going on at the same time. That game, Vandy, Ohio State, and who else? Somebody. I don't know who it was. But anyway, Florida played extremely well. But I knew when LSU game, and when it came down to it, they was gonna blow it because that's what they do. Bill Napier, he can hang it up. He's not gonna be there next year. I mean, as a president of our university, would you want him there? Florida is like just 11 star right now, and they have talent. And this is another thing too about South Carolina. Those defensive ends. I think they got one receiver, 6'6". I'm trying to figure out why are they at South Carolina? Why aren't they at Georgia or Alabama or LSU? I mean, they're getting some great players, just like Devion Clowney. How he end up in South Carolina? Why didn't he go to Alabama? I think we need to tighten up on the recruiting a little bit. I mean, you can't make a player come to your school, but LSU, just look at LSU, all them big receivers they have. I think our tallest receiver is I think 6'2". Um, and our best receiver is a freshman. I mean, take Ole Miss, team full of receivers. I think we might have to get this guy maybe like two years of recruiting to get his. I think he needs to learn how to play in the SEC. Because when I see Alabama on the field now, I see a Pac-10, Pac-12 team, Pac-10, Pac-12, whatever it was. But that was type of team, and it's effective. And I ain't gonna lie, it's working. But we need to be running the ball more. I think they ran Miller a lot more this game, and you can see it was effective to a point. But I'm looking forward to the Tennessee game. I think it may surprise everybody. Let's see who else we got. We got Vanda in Kentucky. I guess Vanda turned out to be a better team than we thought they were. And knocking off Kentucky. Kentucky almost knocked off Georgia. That shows the competitiveness they have. Their defense is really good. And I watched the game against Vandy. I watched the game Vandy, Kentucky. And during the game, Vandy looked like they was gonna win the game, and they were playing like they was gonna win the game. It wasn't no little fluke. Well, they came back in the end. So I think Vandy is a legitimate, good SEC team. I actually enjoy watching them. So I think it just be interesting to see how it turned out for them. I know they have 2 losses, but I don't know if them losses are SEC losses. I guess it remains to be seen. Now our secondary, like I'm watching now, our secondary needs to tighten. Yeah, now be honest with you, I think our secondary is weak. They are weak. They don't attack, they just react all the time. And I don't know that just how they are coached. And I don't think we should have got that guy from we come from North Alabama, not South Alabama. Should have went out and got a proven SEC defensive coach, somebody in the league, someone who knows the SEC. I think that would have been best for us because I don't like this guy defensive approach. Let me see who else played yesterday. Kansas State, Colorado, Penn State, USC. I guess no, I'm not going to even fall for Penn State because they do this every year. They go undefeated. They go 5-0, 6-0, ranked on 7, 5, 4. And then when they play Ohio State or Michigan, they lose that game. And then they just drop off the map. It's the same thing every year. So I'm not even falling for them. When they prove that they can beat somebody like Michigan, which isn't a daunting task this year, but if they can knock off Ohio State, okay, then I have a little faith in Penn State. But until then, it's just same old Penn State. I see Colorado lost again, which I was not surprised because I know when they came up with a play against a legitimate Division I team, a team, not a team with a few good players, a legitimate team, this thing was going to happen. So this is not shocking and surprising. And I really think that Coach Prime can really coach. I mean, because mostly all you just see his antics. I didn't like his antics, how he speak, how he carry himself. It's not something you use from I guess you're just not used to seeing it at Alabama. So a coach like Nick Saban, a lot of other coaches in the SEC. But, when he sat back and let his players play, I mean, they really can play. And he can really coach. But I don't think that they are must-watch TV. I mean, it's just another team in another Division I team to me. I mean, they are all right. They'll do. Ohio State. It's in it. I think Ohio State allegedly. I think they spent like $19 million on their players this year, getting players in that they want. Because I know they got a few guys from Alabama, just like Florida State did. $19 million. I don't know if that's true or not, but they had the money to do it. And they go down to Oregon. And I'm surprised at Oregon. I was out telling the fellas, like in our little group chat, I didn't think that they had the manpower to face a team, SEC team, or a team like Ohio State, because up front, they defensively wise, they've never been skilled enough to handle a team like a SEC team. I can't recall them beating the SEC team. I remember Auburn beat them. I think Ohio State beat them in the first round of the playoff one year. I think they got by Florida State that year when Jameis Winston was there. You know, they had a pretty good team then, but they got ran over by Ohio State in the championship game. But they are tough this year. I think they done recruited. They got some beefy guys up on defensive line, and from the snap one last night. I mean, they was in the game. I mean, they just handled Ohio State. They was up for the challenge, and they won. And with the new 12 team playoff, is anybody talking about Alabama lost to Vandy? I mean, now that was something to talk about because it's Alabama Vandy, but it's Ohio State lost. No, who cares? I mean, you still could lose another game to get in, and you still got your conference championship. If you win your conference championship, you're gonna get in anyway. So, I think it's a good thing to have few more teams in the playoffs, but it gives you a little bit more leeway in the during the regular season to lose a game or two, maybe three. I wouldn't go for three, but hey, you never know. Um, but it was a nice weekend of football, and that's another thing. With the new alignment, you're getting all these good games every week. You don't have to wait till 7 o'clock, 6:30, 7 o'clock on Saturday night to get a good game. We had good games all day yesterday, and it'd be like that every week because of alignment. Teams are being forced to play each other. Just like next week, we got Georgia, Texas, Alabama, Tennessee, which is we get that every year. Those some good matchups next week. So I'm not all it's shocked, but I'm not all been out of shape like a lot of Alabama fans are about the South Carolina game. I thought they played well. I mean, a little bit more consistency is probably needed, but I think the coaching may be the problem. I think we need to be aggressive on them. We need to blitz people until they fall out. Blitz them. I mean, we got 100-some players on that team. If they get tired, I mean, put some new players in. Let them play. I think we need to use the backs more. But overall, I'm pleased with the game. I mean, we made a lot of mistakes. We're not playing against the PB, playing against other Division I players, so everything's not going to go smoothly, just like we want all the time. We're going to have to fight for these games. We're just not used for them having to fight this much, But hey, that's what I want to say. I just wanted to talk about those few games. And say I'm not too been out of shape of Alabama. I think they're gonna be ready for Tennessee. And tell you the truth, we might be all overreacted all because of Vandy game. Vandy is pretty good this year, so I think we went in unprepared and we just got beat. So don't be surprised if we end up in Georgia this year. I'm looking forward to it because I'm gonna be there if we do. But that's all I want to say about that. Like I say, this is a sports edition of Simple Logic TV. And if you can do me a favor and like the video and subscribe. And I will see you on the next one.